chair. This is very awkward.
Hey, Caitlin, go into the microphone. Use the microphone.
Like this.
Well, sure.
All right.
Ready for your phone.
I can do this.
Beautiful.
Let me know if I'm gonna fall. All right. All right. It's wonderful to see you all. If you're not familiar with Joe's Café and how all of this comes together, I want you to know that when John books me for these gigs, I never really know what musicians or bands I'm going to be paired with. So he couldn't have known how lovely tonight has been for me. Mi mamá nació en Texas, en El Paso, and so it was, my mother's from El Paso, and so it was wonderful when I realized that I was booked for Dia de los Muertos, but also to look up the musicians for tonight, and yeah, it was lovely, a beautiful pairing. So while our band is giving us that joy and that life, I figured I would give us that reflective moment for the celebration. And so while I take some time to tell you about those that I've lost who have gone before us, I want you to think about yours, okay? And join me in this not entirely depressing, but because that's not Dia de los Muertos, but it's a time for us to reflect and remember the good and how much we miss them. So we will start with someone I loved dearly, practically raised me, my grandmother, who I took care of in the end. So she was from the Midwest and taught me the great art of canning all of your food. And so that does play quite a bit here. So this first poem is called Blue Damson Plums. Tart in the jar, rows and rows of smudged glass lined the cellar. The must and damp, the smell of old water deep in cement. Daddy Longlegs crouched in corners to wonder at the kaleidoscope walls. Stewed tomatoes, apple butter, quick pickles, bright fingers of peaches floating in syrup, each with a canning date in black marker. But the plums, fat bodies rolling, swollen with sugar. We'd stolen them last summer, but that's not the word we used. The tree was leaning out the back fence of some farmer's lower acres, the branches overgrown, pregnant with fruit. We stopped, my grandmother and I, and the perch from our fishing trip ripening in the sun of our truck bed. She called it being good neighbors. There were already downed plums feeding the flies. We were ingenious flies, taking our piece before the fall. I taste the cold settling into her rotting body, like floating in a sweater that's lost its shape, tucked in a kind of cellar that cannot keep her from our cousins for long. And I want to find the stone, too slick in its newness for death, like the preacher and his black mirror shoes so out of place in field mud. I want to mark her date in fat black ink. There is a satisfying pop as I pry the lid from the mouth. Their soggy heads stain my hands a-gloaming. And in the taut sting that stabs the jaw, I find her whole once more. And in the spirit of spooky season, this one is called After She Died, We Visit in Dreams. After she died, we'd visit in dreams. Usually my own, but sometimes my sister's, or in the visions of people I would know 4 years from now. My favorite was when we watched my mother reenact her winter formal, big hair and bigger sleeves. Her mother narrating, "She worked on that dress for weeks, all for a boy who was afraid of rabbits." We'd squat on dream porches and retell stories I worshipped as a child from underneath her kitchen table. Too young to know anything worth hearing, old enough to want the ears. No one ever heard us scratching about the back of their heads. Now she visits only when I can't remember a recipe or the name of the foal we lost to coyotes the summer the rain ran out. The day she forgets, I will take over. Now, it's cross-cultural that when we lose those we love, people do their best to take care of you in those times. And often, especially in the Midwest, I've noticed, they feed you. And so, this one is called The Day My Grandfather Died. The day my grandfather died, 6 pigs sat in the kitchen, hams wet with sugar, fine slices folding out. Thank God for church ladies. They think grief steals your stove. They would have gladly spooned bits of carrot to our open mouths, the not yet dead or baby birds, spare necks and pathetic fluff. They said we needed our strength to choose a casket and pick from rows and rows of loud flowers. Better to have a pig bouquet. Petals of flesh lining the aisles, buttons of pineapple for color. Death decorates his lapel with ham, and weeks after the burial, you find yourself hiding it wherever possible. Sandwiches, scalloped potatoes, under table legs, insoles for your shoes. Slabs of pig fanned out and shuffled like cards until your fingers shine slick with grease. Months later, in that ham-sick glow that never really dulls, the aching sheen, a radiant crown. This next one came from too many conversations about losing loved ones. But specifically, this came from talking to a friend through her first loss of a family member. And the advice, the wisdom you don't realize you have until you open your mouth and realize, oh yes, I've lost so many. So this is called, again, it was in the Midwest, 3-bean salad in a coffin. Think of it this way. He just left the party early and now is 1,000 pools of light. A litter of stars whelped by the sky and you too new to wean a gaping maw. Sometimes the goodbyes break you, chicken bones blessing the throat. The dead rip stitches from our sides, a skein of fingers and thread. They wade out to meet the growing swell. It is 20 leather journals choking down a lifetime of coincidence, and you must eat your heart with a spoon. This is about a particular grief that mathematically I can guarantee people in here have felt, but I wish they hadn't. It is a sticky grief that covers the mother's heart, wrapped up in cheesecloth and elm sap, placed in a brown bag from the market where bruised peaches went for 50 cents. It hangs, a beating sack, in the closet behind the stairs. She cannot forget the swell in her belly, or the bent bodies hovering, sterile in their inability to touch the loss. Each night she untethers the slow thump to place peach pits like coals, hot from her tongue beside the torn muscle, but she knows some seeds never take. A year of planting in dark, and the stairs will weaken where the closet has fermented. The unmother's heart ripened to maggots. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you like that. So this last one speaks to the heart of this. We recognize that even though they're gone, they're not really. Your relationship with them just changes. They still continue as long as you remember them. And so what I have here is called I Will Not Waste You. The pink of your thighs folding in is the conch I hold to my mouth, and the soft curve of your body a bell to my ear. Sickness washes in like floodwater, foul and dejected. Your bones wilt in the afternoon sun flung across the bed. It sprouts up through the quilt tucked under your head, a crown for the dying. And you wear your sadness like jewelry, delicate chains of worry strung from your throat. When that day comes, I will not waste you in the ground. Your teeth will chatter trinkets on my breast, your eyes plucked from the tide and dyed to match the sea of magnets floating above to-do lists. Your ribs will trickle from the ceiling, a cage dancing beneath 100 watts. Long bones make beautiful chairs that glisten in the dining room and hum as they are pulled from the table. And your hands will hold our rings the way upturned stumps hold clay in their wicked roots, stretching up from the mouth of the river. In the aftermath of gurneys and gauze, I will rebuild you. Thank you. All right, who's ready to get some music back up here? So I think if we are loud enough, we'll be able to convince Mauricio-Villanueva and what is your band called? Or the movement, the project? ConSentido. All right, let's get them back up here. Put your hands together.